So, before I go on to talk about the gang in El Salvador, I would like to give you a brief summary about El Salvador's civil war that led to the fleeing of many Salvadorians for the United States. During the 1880s to the 1930s, El Salvador's main cash crop was coffee, but most of the wealth produced by coffee was owned by 2% of the population, and that led many people who were from low income communities to live in very bad conditions. So, Agustin Martin, a leader of a socialist party in El Salvador, led indigenous and peasants to uprise against the government, and that rebellious group was formed. Cuba funded the rebellious group with firearms and money. Back then, Cuba was an ally of the Soviet Union. And fear of communism spreading in El Salvador and later on in Central America, the United States decided to intervene and funded El Salvador government with death squads, firearms, and money. The Civil War lasted 12 years. During those 12 years, many people migrated to the United States, specifically Los Angeles. Migrants were arriving into marginalized communities, replete with gang violence that were targeting them. So many of the migrants, specifically Salvadorian migrants, decided to create their own gang to protect themselves. And MS-13 was born, or Mara Salvatrucha. After the Civil War ended in El Salvador in 1992, the United States decided to deport criminals who did not have legal documentation to stay in the country. So many of the gangs were deported back to El Salvador, MS-13 members. El Salvador was recovering from the Civil War, so the country was very unstable. Criminals were arriving in very low income communities and they were taking over them. The organization MS-13 works in cliques. They have cliques in every neighborhood. And in those cliques, the way power is distributed is in a hierarchy type of way. You have the local leaders at the top who are called ranfleros, who are in charge, who have the most power. You have the commissioners who give the orders, and you have the gatilleros or sicarios who do the killings. The very sad thing is that the sicarios and gatilleros are young people, kids ranging from ages from 12 to 18, 20, and they do the killings. The criminal acts that MS-13 do are human smuggling, human prostitution, drug trafficking, robbery, killings, and extortion. The way that MS-13 gets most of their money, it's from extortion. So the way that they do this is by controlling the territory, and when they control that territory, they can go to houses and local businesses and tax them, and that's what extortion is. So the people living in that neighborhood, has to pay the gang members a fee, or else they will be killed. Um, some statistics about Salvador gang violence is 103 homicides per 100,000 people. That may sound very small, but compare El Salvador is six. It has a population of 6 million people, and it's a very small country, so that's a lot. Um, El Salvador gang violence costs the countries 11% of their GDP, which equates to $2.6 billion every year. We have a short video that we want to show you guys that pictures the kind of violence that is in El Salvador between police and gangs. And yeah.